In these notes, we are going to be talking about exponential decay. Exponential growth means that as x increases, y decreases. I'm sorry, that should say decay. So exponential decay means that as x increases, y decreases. It also means that the multiplier must be less than 1. Less than 1 is anything between 0 and 1. So that means a decimal or a fraction. A great example of depreciation is depreciation of car value. So on average, a car depreciates 15 to 25% each year. In the first 5 years, your car has then depreciated about 60% of the original value. So when you buy a brand new car, on average, it depreciates at 20%. That's between 15 and 25. In the first year, this means that it is now worth 80% of the original value. So let's say I bought a car for $20,000. I want to know what is the value after 1 year has passed. Well, if 1 year has passed, it has gone down 20%. That means that it is now worth 80%. So you can think about that in one of two ways. You can multiply by 80%, which is 0.8 once you convert it to a decimal. Your car is worth $16,000 now. It lost $4,000 in value. You can also think about it instead as taking 100% of the original value and subtracting the depreciation value, which is 20%. We have to convert both to decimals, so 100 converted to a decimal is 1, 20% converted to a decimal is 0.2. This is the same as this, so we should get the exact same answer twice. So you can either do the depreciation in your head to know that it's worth 80%, or you can just use subtraction instead. So just like your Lamborghini loses 20% of its value in the first year and is then only worth 80%, exponential decay means that you are subtracting the percent from 100, like I just showed you in the calculator. You're subtracting the depreciation from 100, which is the opposite of growth, where we add those two things together. So this is our new way of thinking about it. So if 20% depreciation, that means I take 100% and subtract 20%. That gives me 80%, and when I convert 80% to a decimal, I move the decimal 2 times to the left, which gives me a multiplier of 0.080 or 0.8. These are the same. So let's say, how much is the Lambo worth after 5 years if it depreciates at 20% each year and is initially worth $300,000? Initially, I know that means that's the initial value. It's losing 20%, but I want to write my rate as a decimal. Or you can think of, well, 100 minus 20% is 80%. And then you can put that in here, but we're going to just put 20% as a decimal right now. So 300,000, 100% as a decimal minus 20% as a decimal to 5 years. Because our x, which is typically time, is going to be 5 years. So when I put that in the calculator, I make sure to put this in parentheses, 1 minus 0.2. I close my parentheses, caret 5, and my car is now worth $98,304 after 5 years. Therefore, after 5 years, my car has lost $201,069 of worth. So in 5 years, I've already lost that much money.